It was like this huge thing in the papers about her. It was like highly publicized, her and Richard Burton.
Mm-hmm.
This whole affair thing. There's a scene in the script where Richard Burton actually calls up Hunt, or the other way around, and they do like this dialogue in the middle of the night, and they talk about it. And I read on IMDb that Richard Burton was going to be played by Russell Crowe.
Wow.
When this scene was in. But they just dropped the whole thing. So, there's that.
Could it be that Richard Burton didn't want his name tarnished?
Yeah, or his family or something.
That's what I was thinking.
Or just time. Like I said, Howard did a great job balancing all of this. So,
sometimes you have to cut things, especially if it's a long movie, because this movie is not very long at all.
It's 2 hours and 3 minutes, and it's got a really nice, once again, we're fitting in that really nice trend now. Movies do not feel lately as long as they are. This is another one of those. It's a really slick 2 hours.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, I was a little worried going in because, another thing about fucking Olivia Wilde's character, she's also really cliche, like she's only in the movie for like 3 minutes. She's there for them to meet, for them to get married, for her to not like his drunkenness and to leave him. And yes, when he gets into the drunkenness, we actually have the line, "I can't stay and watch this."
Yeah.
So there's really... I suppose she did have to be there because that was his life, but... You know... If she wasn't something as important as, like, his wife, she would have been expendable in the story.
Yeah.
The thing that had me worried going in was it was getting comparison. This is weird. I can kind of see it, especially since they used the same fucking song. But I had heard a comparison or two to Days of Thunder.
I was thinking you were going to go there.
I fucking hate Days of Thunder. This is something totally on another level. So yeah, it's basically it's the main focus is them and their rivalry and how their rivalry actually brought them a lot closer than anybody was anticipating.
True.
Particularly the scene where the reporter mocks Nicky Lauda and asks him the question about how does it feel that your wife's never going to look at you the same way again because you're deformed now? And Hunt tracked him down and beat the shit out of him.
He took him behind closed doors. He's like, "Yeah, how you doing?" Next thing you know, bam, just beats the daylights out of him.
And then he turned around and did the Thor line. Anyone else? So yeah, Rush is an impeccably well done piece of filmmaking there.
Agreed.
Next is abruptly, we're just moving on.
Apparently so.
Time restraints. Next is Don Jon, which is Joseph Gordon-Levitt's writing and directing debut, I think.
Yes.
Definitely directing debut. I think it's his writing debut as well. And of course, he's the star of it. Good figure.
Yes.
He was originally going to cast Channing Tatum, but did it himself instead.
I can see that somewhat.
Okay, Don Jon is really good.
Yes, it is.
And hilarious. But one of its problems is at the very, very start. Thing about it is, Joseph Gordon-Levitt has said time and time again, the point of Don Jon is not a sex movie, and it's not necessarily a romantic comedy either.
No.
Though he did take a lot of inspiration from Friday the Summer. He says it's a movie about how we view the media.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously the main focus is John is more caught up in porn than he is in real life physicality with real women.
Correct.
And Scarlett Johansson's character, Barbara Sugarman. Because Tony Danza is freaking out that she might be jealous.
Yes.
She, is wrapped up in romantic comedies and thinks that life should be that way.
Speaking of Channing Tatum.
Yeah. And yeah, you see in the trailer, we have the fake romantic comedy movie with Channing Tatum and Anne Hathaway, but they're not actually Channing Tatum and Anne Hathaway. On the on the fake poster, they have different names.
Yep.
We also see a fake romance movie with Cuba Gooding Jr. in it.
I saw that.
Looking just like he does in the Machete Kills trailer.
Yes.
Yeah, they do. There's a fake trailer. They do this thing, obviously splitting up the sexes, of course. Where they do this. She's standing in front of the romantic comedy poster, and he's standing in front of the poster of this action movie that's called So Hard, So Fast 3D.
Yeah.
And if you look, the tagline was "So far, so good until now."
Until now, yeah.
But of course, they go to the romantic comedy, and he practically sleeps through it and all that. And then there's this scene where they're at the dinner table at his parents' house. This is the scene in the trailer where Tony Danza's eating spaghetti in slow-mo. There's this, apparently it was a real commercial. It's a hamburger commercial with this topless model on a beach eating it and covering her tits. Long story short, this is Joseph Gordon-Levitt talking about the media and its influences.
Yeah. And
it's about as subtle as a pillowcase full of bricks hitting you over the back of the head.
Yeah.
I think that's my only problem with this movie. I'm not one for everything must be subtle or it sucks. I'm just saying, that message was really, really in your face.
Yeah.
But, besides that, the movie within the message, is great, really.
Agreed.
You have, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's his normal appealing self. I don't think he's ever been bad.
No.
I was never a big Scarlett Johansson fan, but she's fine here.
She'll be good to her, too.
She's one of those ones where you can apparently the role was tailor-made for her, and you can tell. So that was good. And of course, by the goddess that does no wrong by me, that is Julianne Moore.
Yeah.
I think she's incapable of being... Well, maybe there's probably some suck-ass movie out there somewhere that she was in that was really, really bad, but...
You get her at the end of this month, too.
Yeah. But she's just, just great in everything. You might as well not ask me how Julianne Moore does in movies because I'm totally biased.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Danza's great and hilarious as his very foul-mouthed dad, John Sr.
If you ever want to hear Tony Danza curse, this is your opportunity. And it's just as amazing as you believed it would be.
And you have Glenn Headley as his mom, who's had those, generic love interest parts throughout movies of the 80s and 90s. And you don't really, her face, but you can't really, stick a name with her or a particular movie with her, but you know her.
Mm-hmm.
I can name a few, probably. There's Brie Larson.
Yes.
Who, as you said, has her chasing Amy moment. She spends the whole movie texting silently, and then finally at the end, she has a big speech.
Yep.
She's apparently taking off because she's got a lot of buzz for Short Term 12, and she was in Spectacular Now and all that, and she's 21 Jump Street. She's just there a lot now. And,
more Channing Tatum references.
Yeah. But yeah, that's... Obviously, it's not a routine romantic comedy, which is obviously, that's his point, so it's not going to be a routine romantic comedy.
Yeah.
Without, there are movies that I hate because they're so obviously going in that I'm intentionally being different to be different thing. But this is one of those things where it's, obviously it's meant to be different than what you're expecting, but not in an overbearing way. It's clear that Joseph Gordon-Levitt's been around this for most of his life and knew what he was doing before he stepped behind the camera. So that's good. And wrote. It's not good to watch this if you're prone to seizures.
No.
Because there's a lot of... it's very hyperactive, the porn montages and...
A lot of jump cuts.
Yeah. It's very flashy, but not in a not exactly in a too much particular way, because that's the movie style. Is basically what it is. It's a it's not just doing it for the sake of it. It's gotta, if you're doing a movie, you kind of gotta have a distinct style if you're being original, and this is this movie's style. And it's really funny, like I said. And there's this very memorable scene where she's not going all the way with him yet. So she basically is convincing him to do things he doesn't want to do, like let her meet his parents and his friends and take a class. And while she's convincing him of this, she's dry humping him in the hallway outside her door. To be blunt, to the point that he comes in his pants.
Yep.
And then there's this really funny payoff scene later where she still is not putting out. So we see him doing his laundry, and every single pair of his pants has a cum stain on them.
Yep.
And I actually laughed out loud, which is something I don't normally do, but it was just the perfect delivery from the goddess herself, Julianne Moore. She catches the porn on his history, because for some reason John is not aware of clearing history.
Yeah.
But as much as he uses his computer, you'd think he would be. So he decides to. Apparently, he never figured that out till later. We see him clearing it all the time later. But in the meantime, in compensation for that, he starts watching porn on his phone at school. And then there's this hilarious moment where Julianne Moore comes up from behind him while he's watching porn on his phone, and he quickly hides it. And she's just, sits beside him, and they start talking. And she's that talkative type that you don't like to be around, but you just kind of sit there and pretend to listen to be nice. And she's just talking about random shit and just talking and talking. And then, he's just assumed he's gotten away with it, so he's just sitting there looking ahead, and she's talking. And then she finally just says, "Oh, by the way, I don't mean to be rude, but were you just watching people fucking on your phone?"
Yeah, that was a hilarious line.
And she gives him a porn DVD from the 70s as a gift.
It's not what you're used to, but I thought you might enjoy it.
Yeah, it's just it's a nice, like I said, another sleek hour-and-a-half movie, which is good in all these epic movies. Whether they feel their length or not, it's just nice for a nice sleek 90-minute movie nowadays. And this is one of those.
It's not something everyone will enjoy, though.
Yeah, it's very explicit.
If you are prudish in any way, stay far away from this.
It was initially NC-17, the cut that was shown at Sundance, but he managed to slice it down. He cut out the porn footage, is what he did. Apparently we saw more of the porn footage than we initially were going to.
You could tell that some of the shots were upwards, so they didn't show too much.
And there was what else was there? I was about to say something else and I just lost it.
Sorry.
I don't remember now.
I mean, it was originally called Don Jon's Addiction, so...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I was going to say that it's, this was the word out at Sundance and ends up being totally true. This is basically a romantic comedy version of Shame.
Yeah. Exactly.
But, in the cast aside, I forgot to mention Rob Brown, who is his friend. He was the football player in The Express, that Dennis Quaid movie. He's popped up in some things. Yeah. So yeah, all the characters are likable enough. Barbara, tends to get out of hand sometimes, but she's played so well by Scarlett Johansson, you kind of... It doesn't feel like a character that's bringing everything down. So, anything you want to add?
I was really hyped for this movie when I first heard about it. I heard everything that came out of all the film festivals, and I was just really interested to see what would happen when he actually wrote and directed his own film. And it's laugh out loud hilarious. Like I said, if you are prudish in any way, this is not the movie for you. But if you can take this stuff with a grain of salt, and this stuff's not going to make you run screaming out of the theater into baggage claim.
Oh, God.
Hey, look at the crowd that would go to it. that's probably exactly what would happen. So basically, we'll talk about that soon. Don't worry. Then give it a shot, because I'll tell you, at least in this area, it's not going to be here very long. It doesn't really have a core audience that it plays to. It's having trouble finding an audience, and apparently it's not doing very well box office wise either, which is a shame.
It's number 5 on opening weekend. It was fucking baggage claims.
We'll talk about that insane piece of work later.
So, is that it?
Yeah, really good movie.
All right.
Recommended.
Next is Runner Runner, which we just got out of. I thought this movie looked okay initially. Just like one of those minor things, it's just like, oh, that was alright. Next,
we'll forget about it.
But then it started getting really bad word of mouth. And then it started to look less and less appealing as it went.
Well, JT didn't buy a hat. That's why.
So then, so it came out, and we went into it, and I was worried. Because I was thinking, well, this is probably going to suck. Once again, another hour and a half. So, I'll just see what happens. And, it's not bad.
No.
It's definitely not as bad as you might be thinking. And it's, well, let's start. It's the guy that did, The Lincoln Lawyer, that director. And it's the guys that wrote Knockaround Guys, which is one of my favorite movies ever of all time. And they also wrote Rounders. Mm-hmm. Among other things, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. So, I wasn't sure. It's basically, as you kept saying, it's, there's a lot of 21.
A whole lot of 21.
There at the start, the Jim Sturgis Kevin Spacey movie. I don't know if you remember or not. I didn't know till like 2 days ago this is apparently a true story.
Of course it is. Everything is nowadays, seems like.
I was not aware of that, but apparently it is. I have no idea. Obviously, since I had no idea it was, I have no idea what's true to life and what isn't.
I've got a feeling the name Ivan Block has probably changed.
This is probably one of those movies where it's so minor. It's probably mostly fabrication.
Yeah.
But regardless, I don't know. So basically, Tim Roy is, he's at Princeton, I think.
Yep.
And he does like the online gambling thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's,
he facilitates business for online gambling institutions.
Yeah, and he's basically about to get kicked out of Princeton.
Yes, because they caught him.
And then he loses all of his money to Ben Affleck.
Yes.
So, for some reason, he decides he's going to fly down to Costa Rica where Affleck is and confront him personally. Because that sounds totally safe.
Yeah.
So that's what happens. And then we meet Affleck, and he's basically the Gordon Gekko of online gambling.
Yeah.
That's what he's striving for here. I wouldn't be surprised if I know there's actual on-camera footage in Boiler Room of Ben Affleck watching Wall Street and quoting it. So we know Ben Affleck has seen Wall Street. I wouldn't be surprised if Ben Affleck took inspiration from Michael Douglas when he played this part. Is what I'm saying. Alright, let's get into acting. I was worried about Timberlake, because this is another one of those you shouldn't judge by a trailer thing, because I thought Timberlake looked really bad in the trailer. But here's the thing, is Timberlake has things going on. Timberlake can be really, really great.
Yes.
Like, he's really great in Alpha Dog.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just magnificent in The Social Network. It's just magnificent, sleazy greatness in The Social Network.
Exactly.
But there's also times where he's not so great. He's kind of, he's fine here. He's not bad.
No.
I don't know how that trailer was edited, but he's not bad here, really. Affleck is great in this.
Affleck's always great.
I wasn't sure when I saw the trailer. Like, I thought maybe he would have been doing the hammy thing a little much. Not that I care if people do hammy much. It just depends on how you do it.
Yeah.
Most people, see Hammy and they're like, well, fuck that, that's bad, just on principle. That's not the way it is. It depends on how you do it. And this is a very good way to do it.
Agreed.
Because he's really not... I won't say he's completely over the top. Like, he doesn't... Depends on your definition of over the top, really. He's kind of a quiet over the top in a lot of his deliveries. He only has, like, one yelling scene, which is in the trailer.
In the trailer.
You know what it is.
Yeah. He seems like he's untouchable, too. Because he's bought everyone off.
Like, there's this great scene where he's talking about his old partner who died of a drug overdose. And I don't know what it was. There's some things, like, just to throw a random name out there, Jeff Daniels is really good about this. There's some actors that just have a way with line delivery that are just like, if you were to see the line on paper, and you would see the way the actor delivered it, you'd be like, wow, I would have never thought to deliver that line that way, but it's very interesting. Like, it's that acting thing. A lot of people are probably thinking, what?
Yeah.
But, yeah, if you look at a line on a script that has not been said by anybody ever, there are so many different ways that line can come out. And a lot of it, whether a scene is good or bad, or whether a performance is good or bad, can depend on it.
True.
And I don't know why this line stood out, but the way Affleck delivered this line was just like, I was like, wow, that was a really good acting choice. But it was just, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know why this line stuck out. He was just talking about, like he's talking about his partner, and Timberlake asks where he is now. And of course, if Timberlake has to ask where he is, the answer's not going to be good.
Yeah.
He says, like, Block could have said, he died of a drug overdose. But it just very smoothly came out. He was just like, well, when you're in this business, you get caught up in a lot of things, and he died of a drug overdose. It's just like this really slick line reading. It was like, wow, Affleck.
It's great, folks. I'm trying to tell you.
And yeah, he does the intimidating thing, of course.
Yes.
Always walking around with his bow tie undone for some reason. I don't think he ever actually tied it through the whole movie.
No.
God's sake. Gemma Arterton. I knew it was going to happen. I suppose I don't have anything against her personally. She's just never done anything that really stood out. If it wasn't for Hansel and Gretel, I probably wouldn't be able to put a face with her name.
True.
But, the movie started, and we were like 20 minutes in, and I was like, well, I'm actually enjoying this a lot more than I thought I would. This is flowing very nicely. It's got a good, thing. I'm very interested to see where else it goes. And then I start to think, and it comes to me. I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute. We haven't been introduced to Gemma Arterton yet. Why do I have a very, very horrible feeling that when she comes on screen the first time, this movie is going to stop fucking dead where it is.
Ooh.
And this will continue every time she's on screen. Not to give myself too much credit, or to seem like I'm blowing my own horn too much, that is pretty much what happened. She is literally there to be nothing more than a pointless figure of desire. To basically... Well, here's the thing, she's Affleck's woman. But Timberlake wants her. This sets up a rivalry. This rivalry never comes.
Nope.
She's basically there just to... You know why she's there? Because we need somebody to make the movie seem sexy, and we need a PG-13 sex scene for the main character to have. That is her only reason for existing. The only reason whatsoever. And they try to build it up like it could be a love story. The only fucking reason Timberlake loved her was because in her opening scene, she's all sassy. She's all, oh, nope, I'm not just here to be eye candy. I just shut you down, They try to make that character development, but it's just more of a stereotype is what it is. Mm-hmm. That's literally all she's there for. She even gets fucking second credit. They gave Affleck the and. Should this poster not say Timberlake Affleck?
Yeah.
Nobody else? She's not even in it that much. Which is good in the long run, but I mean,
yeah.
Still. We have supporting characters that aren't really there. Oh, wait, no, we have Anthony Mackie.
Yes.
Anthony Mackie's yet another one of those people that can do no wrong. Like, Anthony Mackie could be in the worst movie of all time, and he'd be awesome in it. Because he just has that charisma and that way about him. He's the, he's an FBI agent, but it's hard to tell exactly what his motives are. Like, he very well could be untrustworthy. Or he could just be an unlikable hard ass. Or he could be dirty. Regardless, he's not your typical FBI agent.
Yeah.
Anthony Mackie is just great. Like, if Anthony Mackie's in the cast list of any movie you can find, watch it just because he's in it. Unless it's Hollywood Homicide, where he was killed in the first scene with, like, a line.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean. Then there's John Hurd, who is taking a huge step up from fucking Sharknado. That he was just in. And he's Timberlake's dad, who basically becomes involved in things, kind of, towards the end. Bob Gunn, who is Warden Norton in Shawshank, is the, the dean?
Mm-hmm.
He's just there for that one scene. We have a good opening scene for Timberlake with, that guy. He plays a professor. He's in the very first scene. He was Gale on Breaking Bad, and he had a funny recurring part on Flight of the Conchords. And he's this professor who's into the online gambling thing that's trying to get Timberlake to, like, straighten everything out for him because he lost all his money. And you have, I think his name is Ben Schwartz. He's on House of Lies. Mm-hmm. He was the roommate that basically tells Timberlake what we're all thinking. You're about to go to a country with a language you don't understand and talk to a guy you've never met who's this big, powerful person.
But nice knowing you.
It's really not that bad. The main problem is, about an hour in, I finally started to lose focus. Like, my attention kind of started to stray a little bit, and I started having... I mean, I wasn't bored, and I wasn't, like, starting to dislike it. It's just, it wasn't holding my attention the whole time. But, you know, it's really not that bad. It's not going to be as bad as I'm sure the critics will make it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's fine. The ending's a little unsatisfying.
Yeah, extremely.
But, still, you know, it's fine.
I thought we were leading towards a completely different ending. Also taking place on the tarmac of an airport.
I didn't expect it to be like a massive blowout or anything, but, you know, it just kind of gets there.
Some more comeuppance for Ivan Block, maybe.
And there's not really, it doesn't really feel like a build to a climax.
No.
It just kind of goes and it just kind of gets there.
Yeah.
But overall, it's fun. Take Jim Arden out and put some more Block in there, or put, you know, more suspense in those empty spaces.
From that perspective, you're basically comparing it kind of like how Parker was. If you take Jennifer Lopez out of the movie, it's watchable.
So, yeah. Do you have anything to add?
I really was anticipating this movie. I got tired of putting the trailer and everything. But when it came down to it, it's kind of like, I was really anticipating this movie. Everybody knows I'm like world's biggest Affleck apologist on the face of planet Earth, apparently. I've been deemed by Twitter that, I guess. But, so, I was going to like it. I liked Affleck in it from beginning to end. Obviously, I think he's an amazing actor, and I'm glad to see he's finally starting to get recognized for his acting chops. Anthony Mackie is good in everything he does. I totally agree. And if you don't agree, then you need to check out Notorious, a movie that a lot of people missed out on.
The Hurt Locker.
Well, everyone saw The Hurt Locker. I'm talking about movies that, like, no one saw it. No one saw Notorious, though. House Nelson's a good one. And you can get your Ryan Gosling on, too, while you're at it. But, I mean, yeah, Notorious, I mean, it was a movie that completely everyone skipped out on, but it's actually really good. But everybody is like, I like the movie. Gemma Arterton is not very good at all. This is like Bash, like, Actress Day, apparently, here on Pop, because that's all AJ seems to be doing, but...
Oh, that's not going to let up in the next movie.
Oh, no, it's not. It's about to get a lot longer, folks, in video-wise. Yeah, Runner Runner's good. Go watch it. If you have reservations, still go watch it. You could do a lot worse than Runner Runner right now.
Ready?
Yep, that's fun.
Let's talk about one of the worst movies of the year.
It's definitely I think it's in the top 5 now. It might be higher.
Okay. Baggage Claim.
Oh, dear God.
AKA one of the laziest fucking movies I've ever seen.
Yes. I think our conversations we had during the movie were a bit more entertaining than what was on the screen.
Yeah, luckily nobody was in there, so we were able to like Mystery Science Theater 3000 it.
It was fun.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So, this is basically Paula Patton remaking the Anna Faris movie. What's your number?
Yeah, which I completely forget every time.
Her name is Anna Faris, but for some reason I can't get used to saying that.
I've never heard that before, to be totally honest. That's the first time someone's ever said that.
Yeah, that's definitely how you say her name, but I just can't get used to it. I have to call her Anna, or I'm gonna drive myself
Anna
insane.
Faris.
So, okay. Let me get my own romantic propaganda out of the way before I start into the movie itself. Okay. It's about the movie, so don't skip ahead or anything. So, alright. Like I said, I'm just forcing my romantic beliefs on you here for a second. I'm sorry. But, just hear me out, okay? The plot of this movie is... Hopefully this will make up for all the sexism I've been doing today. Okay. So... Paula Patton's mom has gotten married 4 times.
Correct.
This is the opening credit sequence. Yep. And her sister's about to get married.
Yep.
So, of course, just like all women in the movie universe, if everyone else around the world, if everyone else in your life is getting married, you have no choice but to as well.
Yeah.
Whether it be peer pressure or pressure on yourself because you don't want to feel left out or you don't want to feel like your life is lagging more than theirs is.
You don't want to be alone.
Regardless, that's the movie rule.
Yes.
If you're a woman who is single and everybody else around you is getting married, you must get married right this second. Okay. So, the plot of this movie, I swear to God, is she decides that she needs to find somebody to marry in 30 days.
Yep.
Okay? You do not... Okay. I have a rule. Obviously not set for myself because I'm not out looking. But if I were somebody who was looking for like marriage and all that,
of course,
what I would do is I would meet somebody
mm-hmm.
and I would say, just so you know, I don't fucking know you. You are a total stranger that I just met.
Yeah.
We may like each other, but I don't fucking know you. If I'm going to even remotely entertain the idea of marrying you, this is going to take at least a year. She wants to find somebody to marry in 30 days.
In a month.
So what she decides to do is not meet a total stranger.
Nope.
She's going to go through all her exes. You know, the exes that she clearly broke up with for a fucking reason.
Yeah.
But no, one of them, who she broke up with for obvious reasons, has to be marriage material.
Yep. Because
she needs that right now. For the record, the movie does not see it this way.
Nope.
The movie finds this romantic. Okay. Now, there is a voice of reason. The Melissa McCarthy black ripoff, if you will.
Yeah.
I might just be thinking that because of her trying to seduce somebody on a plane. But regardless, okay.
I believe it's Lala from TV.
She does have a friend, that token, overweight, I think I'm sexy friend.
Yeah.
That says, you know, women don't need men to go on. You know, they don't need to get married. They don't need, you know, to be supported. They can do everything themselves if they wanted to, or if they set out to. But then Paula Patton's character turns around and tries to convince its dumbass audience that this plan she has in store, this 30 days thing, is actually romantic. Because she says, but I want to be loved. I want to have, the romanticism and all that. But she's totally oblivious to the fact that she's not going to find what she's looking for, forcing it on herself over the next 30 days.
Very true.
So, spoiler alert. No lesson is learned, by the way.
Nope.
This plan succeeds.
Yes.
And we're supposed to fucking buy it. Okay? And be really happy about it, too. So, yeah. And that's another thing. This is just my opinion, of course. I'm sure there's plenty of people that feel differently. In my personal opinion, which is probably why I'm single and remaining that way forever, is because... I don't know how personal I should get here. I don't want to. I'll just say, if you're going to fall in love with somebody, it's just going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And you won't be planning on it.
Nope.
If you want something that's actually real, you can't, despite popular belief, you can't just fucking go look for it.
Nope.
That's my opinion anyway.
That's agreed.
You can't just say, I need to get married, I'm going to get married, I'm setting out on that voyage right now. But no, this movie and many other movies like it want you to believe this is the way it goes. And that's that. Going back to Don Jon, this is exactly the kind of movie that Don Jon is against.
Yep.
Because Don Jon's purpose is the fact that women actually believe this is real. This baggage claim might as well be science fucking fiction.
That's an interesting way to put it, but it's very true. Very
what's the word I'm looking for? I suppose, what's the word I'm looking for? Shit.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Projecting this to women as the way things should be is extremely irresponsible. And if you're the audience that's buying into this, you probably deserve the horrible, horrible unhappiness you're going to face if you believe this.
It's like the fashion magazines that say that everyone has to be skinny and has to look a certain way.
Basically. Alright, let's get started.
Alright.
Let's start with this dumbass best friend character. That's the first thing I wrote down. This really confused me because she's a bit... She's not overweight. But, she's got, like, these... She likes flaunting her chest,
yes.
we'll say. And it makes her look bigger.
Correct.
So I couldn't really tell... Okay, so... There's this scene where they introduce her, because, she's the wacky side character that, just screamingly hilarious. There's this... Obviously, they're all flight attendants. And, there's this dude on this plane, and she's basically hitting on him. So what she does is she bends over, of course, and she's like leaning across him. Now the problem with this character is I don't really know what they were going for, because there's two different sides to this kind of character. This kind of character is either the going against type woman that guys love.
Mm-hmm.
Like the guys that love curves, we'll say. And we'll think the guy is like really into her, despite the fact that she's the wacky, bigger side character.
Okay.
The other side of this is she is a grotesque character that thinks she's sexy, and this guy is terrified. I could not tell by this guy's expression whether he was turned on or terrified.
He looked sickened.
So I really
could not tell.
I could not tell which character this character was supposed to be. She's either the I'm flattering because of what I look like, or I'm grotesque because of what I look like. And this movie's shallow enough to go either way.
Very true.
So, There's that bullshit. Then we meet Graham. I don't know who plays Graham. He looks like the, who was the guy in those deodorant commercials that said, I'm on a horse? Remember that guy?
Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
That's what that guy reminded me of.
I got that vibe from it too.
And they're on this boat, and there's a sunset, and everything's perfect, and everything's blah, 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 blah. Obviously, in the first 5 minutes, you know something's going to be wrong. Normal audience for this movie, something goes wrong, they're shocked. You know. But no. I did not, in fact, go into this. Believe it or not, people who made this movie, I did not walk into this movie 5 minutes in, looking at her on the boat with Graham with a sunset, and him talking about how much he loves her and kissing her and all that. And they do this sex scene that's right out of the fucking room, if that gives you any...
Yes, it was.
Foreshadowing. I did not walk into this movie watching this scene going, wow, I'll bet they remain happy together for the entire rest of the runtime. This is going to be so pleasant.
Total opposite.
No, the very next thing we find out he's married and has a pregnant wife.
Yep.
Go figure. And she's the other woman, actually. So, and we never see him again. We never even get a breakup scene, if I remember correctly.
No.
By the way, she's spying on him, so I don't know who's in the wrong here. But regardless, that's okay, because they make the spying and eavesdropping wacky and hilarious. So, whatever. So, then we're introduced to the oldest caricature in the romantic comedy book. The I'm always there best friend who loves her, but doesn't say he loves her, but gets really pissed off when she doesn't love him, despite the fact that she has no idea that he loves her. But don't worry, because after a fight or two, they'll end up together anyway, when she realizes that all the other guys that she's fawning over and thinks she'll marry, she actually won't, because it's all supposed to come back to this fucking guy. Like, we don't know this, which is going to be a big surprise when it happens later.
Which is only a movie cliche. This does not happen in real life, folks.
Oh, fuck this movie. Okay, continuing.
Even the drivers outside are trying to get away from this review.
Okay. So now, her exes are, let's see, there's Taye Diggs, who basically falls into the... Ned Beatty has a part in this scene for no goddamn reason. Most people say Beatty, I say Beatty, don't say anything. And Taye Diggs is basically that... It basically turns into that episode of Fresh Prince where Will had the girlfriend that was overpowering and, like, told him what to do and ordered his meals for him.
Yeah.
Like, told him he couldn't have steak or blue cheese. And there's... who else was there?
The Damon Diesel guy, the athlete.
Yeah, the guy, what's her name from the sister show? What's that show called? And
it's Tia Mowry.
Yeah.
From Sister Sister.
That whole thing is blown in the trailer.
Yeah.
Not that it matters. All that whole thing. And then there's Jaimin, who's like really rich, and basically, apparently he just sees women as possessions. But you know what? I'll get to that in a second. Right now, I would like to talk about a scene in the middle that is so... I don't know. I'm just going to say it, and I'll let you think what you'll think about this whole thing. Okay. Obviously, they're building up this Derek Luke thing.
Yeah, of course.
He's got to be the best friend that's always there until she finally realizes the airport waits and ends up with him.
Yes.
So, she gets stranded. Was this when she got stranded by Taye Diggs?
Yes.
Okay. So she calls up Derek Luke in the middle of the night. Now, of course, he loves her. And of course, he would go out in the middle of the night to go fetch her.
Yeah.
For some reason, when he answers the phone and she says where she is, he's all pissed off. Which makes no sense because he's not pissed off when he gets there. But anyway, that's not the end of this fucking idiocy. No. Okay, so they decide they're gonna go back to his place and watch a movie. Okay, but here's the thing. Check this. I don't get this at all.
Nope.
They're in his truck, and it's cold. So she snuggles up to him while he's driving.
Yeah.
They get back to his apartment. They go upstairs. They pick out a movie. I forget what the choices were now. But,
a bunch of movies that involve the dragon.
Yeah, Enter the Dragon, The Last Dragon, and Crouching Tiger.
Yep.
I
brought up a Ricky the Dragon Steamboat reference.
Yeah, because I thought it was very good. I was like, hey, I have all those movies on DVD. But they're on, like, these taped VHS tapes. And they're getting ready to do that. But then she goes through his yearbook, their yearbook, and we see how they went to the prom together. Ooh, that's not foreshadowing at all.
Mm-mm.
And then, of course, because they're the main characters of the movie, they were probably nobodies in school. Because we don't know anything about their school life. Nobody mentions it. But for some reason, when you turn to the page in the yearbook where the prom is, there's this gigantic picture of the two of them as if they were some centerpiece.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't even fucking king and queen or anything. There was just this big-ass picture that was right in the middle of the prom section of them. So you could quickly establish that they went to the prom together without having to, say anything or go into it much.
One of them was on the yearbook staff, you could tell, because I was on the yearbook staff and we could do that stuff all the time.
Okay, so continuing, they do this, like every romantic comedy. What do? There are two things you can do in a romantic comedy if you want to fall in love. You can sing together or you can dance together. So they put on this
song does not fit the dance they're doing.
Whatever. And they do this, they used to do it like when they were kids or something. Like, you have to why don't we go in the fucking Cracker Jack box? But they're doing this dance in his living room, and it's like, oh, if they just look each other in the eye just once during this dance, they're going to fall immediately in love. Well, he's already in love. She's going to realize it and immediately fall in love too. Because that's the way it works. Now, get this. Wow. What the fuck was the point of this? She cuddles up on the couch, and then she wakes up. And she's still snuggled with him in the truck.
Yep.
This whole long 15-minute segment of her in his apartment was a goddamn dream.
Yes.
Why?
It's a long drive, maybe.
Okay. To the movie's credit, maybe... my voice is getting hoarse. Maybe this dream is her subconscious telling her how she feels about him.
Yeah.
You could have had the same effect if the scene had not been a fucking dream.
Yeah.
Why? Why would that happen? You know what? Forget it. So anyway, basically this movie, this is kind of a weird suggestion or a comparison. The movie kind of reminds me of Bedazzled, Brendan Fraser, Elizabeth Hurley movie, because what happens is the concept is she's meeting up with all her exes, but the thing is, obviously, she has to go from X to X, so every time she meets up with a new ex, something's gonna go wrong, but you don't know what it is. The thing about it in Bedazzled, he makes a wish, the wish comes true, but you always know the wish is going to go wrong, you just don't know how.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole comedy of the scene comes from the anticipation of what's going to be the thing that goes wrong, even when it seems like nothing can. Trouble is, Bedazzled had some hilarious payoffs, some of which you didn't really see coming because they were just fucking random. This is dumb. There's no big payoff. Like, there's, okay, let me talk about a scene they could have done, and the scene they did, the scene they should have done.
Okay.
I'm not much for animal cruelty. I'm just saying this would have made the scene funnier. Okay, tell me. I'm not a comedy genius, so forgive me if neither of these are funny to you. I'm just saying, this would have been a better payoff than what they used, is what I'm saying. Okay? The movie's gonna fucking suck ass regardless.
Yes.
Okay. the thing about Taye Diggs, not only is he this selfish, he's running for Congress, he's making her do what he says thing. No, his big thing is the fact that he's got a weird obsession with his dog, Juicy.
Yes.
And the way this scene ends is, she's yelling at him, and then he says, well, you know the thing about Juicy, unlike you, he's obedient. And he calls Juicy's name, and Juicy just comes running in. And then she says, you know what, I'm out of here, and she leaves. And as she starts to leave, Juicy jumps up and bites, like, the strap on her bag. And basically, she walks out of the apartment with Juicy having a hold of the bag, and he's, like, pulling on it. End scene. Would it have not at least have been a little bit more of a payoff? Because Juicy's built up quite a bit.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have been kind of funny if she was walking out the door and Juicy grabbed a hold of the strap on her bag and she was pulling Juicy along and she just pulled on the bag and Juicy like got slammed into a wall and we get this cut of Taye Diggs screaming like, Juicy, no! Would that not have been just a little funny?
That would have been actually a funny moment in the movie, which it was severely lacking.
But no, Juicy bites her bag and the scene ends.
Yep.
That's our big payoff. Juicy doesn't get his comeuppance.
We could have went
so deserved.
We could have went the bling ring route too, and just could have taken the dog.
Look, no. All right.
He's got bad luck with dogs. First in Rent, and now here.
Okay, so to end this shit, I'm basically gonna spoil it for you, but you don't care because you know how it ends. Fuck it.
Yes.
Drives me up the fucking wall, I swear to God.
Before you get going, I do want to mention that it was nice seeing Christina Milian for 2 seconds. I'm just throwing that out there.
Before I go into this horrible ending, let me bring up another thing that's bad about this is the dialogue.
Oh.
Because here's the thing. You supposedly have this really romantic dialogue, especially this shit with Graham, and when she's talking about what she wants in life. What they think they're saying is like they think they're saying really deep, romantic, poetic shit. But the thing is they're pretty much just like, it's the kind of shit you find in greeting cards. They just throw some tears and sunsets in there, and it's just by the numbers romantic bullshit.
Yeah.
You even get the cliche of she's standing on the side of the road and she says, I shit you not, this movie has not made it past this point in screenwriting. This movie actually has the joke where she's on the side of the road and she says, how could it get any worse? And it starts to rain on her. This movie's not even above that.
No.
Okay, now this bullshit ending. Are you ready? Okay. Here it comes. We're at the big moment. Her, what is it, like, I'm assuming it'd be like a rehearsal dinner or something.
Yeah, it seems like it.
They never specify, but the point, it's to celebrate the soon-to-be wedding. The wedding that's, like, happening tomorrow of her sister, okay?
Yeah.
We've known the whole movie her sister's getting married.
And it's not even a plot point.
Her sister has found a dude. She's so happy she's getting married to this dude. It's her big day. Everyone's here. This room is filled, wall to wall. The family's here, the friends are here, everybody's here. It's a great fucking day. But, no. After her last run-in, Paula Patton's character has finally decided when you should marry somebody and when you shouldn't. Now is the time she decides to say, women don't need men. So what does she do? She runs into this ceremony and takes the fucking podium and gives this big speech.
Yep.
And you know what? They decide to not get married.
I was just doing it because your mom told me to do it.
Not over.
Nope.
Okay.
Should have went right there.
She has decided, not her sister, whose fucking wedding this is, she has decided that women don't need men. So she calls off her wedding. So, do you know what she does? She turns around right after this scene, and chases Derek, not in the exact same scene, a day passes, but regardless, the movie ends with her tracking down Derek Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a whole new brand of goddamn fucking bullshit. I am not kidding. You may think I'm just saying this as an exaggeration, as a play at the romantic comedy genre and its cliches. No, I'm being dead serious. This movie ends with a race to the airport.
Yep.
The guy's gonna get on the plane and leave forever, and she's gotta run to the airport and get there on time before he gets on the plane. And I swear to God, I seriously swear to God, if that cliche is not enough, they really do the scene where she watches the plane take off and thinks he's on it. And she turns around in the terminal, and he's there. This did not commit a cliche. This made sweet love in both holes to the cliche.
Quite an analogy.
And yes, see, okay, they think they've thrown in their not being a hypocrite safety net by saying, we're not going to get married right away. But no. She ruined her sister's wedding by convincing her to not get married. And the movie ends with her tearfully, happily accepting Derek Luke's proposal. You know, the ring he just happened to have on him, despite the fact that he was expecting to fly off to another state without her.
I thought the Cracker Jack box would come back into play.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about the Cracker Jack box.
Not to mention Afion Crockett playing a TSA agent that would have been completely fired at the second he stopped somebody.
Yeah, you get the wacky scene where all her friends work at the airport.
Yeah.
So it's like, they do all the different things to stall him so he can't get on the plane. And we haven't even talked about the abomination that is Adam Brody yet.
We don't care about our jobs.
Okay, listen to this. I'm gonna make this really short and sweet. If you're gay, Adam Brody in this movie will probably offend you.
Yeah.
Adam Brody is the typical gay, wisecracking but caring gay guy. The woman's best friend that gives her all, the advice.
Dressed like Doctor Who.
And has all the banter with the other friends.
Yeah.
And literally, he has the feminine voice. And as if you just can't get it by a clue, I swear to God, every single inch Adam Brody moved was some feminine thing. Like, this was like... Perez Hilton looks at this character and says, God, that guy's too feminine. Oh, God.
This movie's bad. I'm sure AJ has made that abundantly clear. We do not like this movie. I think we enjoyed more waxing poetic about stuff like View from the Top, sitting in the theater watching the movie, than we did actually watching the movie itself. And doing the Mystery Science Theater 3000, trying to predict correctly, mind you, exactly what would happen next.
We were sitting too far back, though.
Yeah.
They sit like 2 seats from the front.
Yeah, I don't sit there unless I'm forced to.
Yeah, we already had that problem with the heat, and it freaked me out.
Yeah, I hate that movie. This movie's bad.
We're almost done.
I hope the camera stays, folks. Yeah. We're trying something new now, so stay away from this movie. Seriously, stay away from this movie. If you think you're going to like it, you're wrong. We'll go with that. You're wrong. You're not going to like this. Well, actually, I know there is a select group of people that will like this movie. But they're not going to watch this video anyway, so yeah, just stay away from this movie. This movie's absolutely horrible. I can say right now it's one of the top 5 worst movies of the year at this moment.
Okay.
Now you can calm down and we can finish with another not so good movie. And
I I need some water or something. It's like fucking... It was really hot in here, and baggage claim just made it so much hotter in here.
I got that. Give me a minute.
Alright, I'll start on battle here.
Unless the camera dies again.
Okay, so... As if the world was not, had enough 3D dancing movies with no character development yet. Because, I don't know anybody personally that even likes those movies to begin with, but regardless, we needed another one. So, we have Battle of the Year. It's got a few recognizable faces. It's Josh Holloway. I never watched Lost, but I think that's what he's famous for. Basically playing the part as if Gerard Butler couldn't make it. So, and we have Josh Peck, who kind of comes and goes in popularity. Mostly goes anymore. Laz Alonso was in, Miracle at St. Anna and other things. And there was, Glorious.
That's the most you're ever going to see of me on a video unless I accidentally peek over the eye of the camera.
Okay. So, we have this, Chris Brown, but, fuck that.
His name is Rooster in the movie. I thought that was done on purpose. You cannot tell me otherwise.
So, they're basically, I don't know what's going on, but they make it sound really important. Basically, they have to dance for America. Basically.
Yeah, there's a national dance competition that apparently they have never won because everybody's better than them. So this is one of those, America's better than everyone else, and we're going to prove it.
And it's always Korea we're up against, apparently.
Unless it's the Mighty Ducks.
So, of course we have this introduction to all the people, as if we're going to remember them. As if they have, recognizable traits.
They have quirky little names and everything, too.
Yeah, they give Chris Brown the Simon Phoenix / Cisco / Dennis Rodman hair.
Yes.
The guy, Holloway keeps drinking from a flask. He must be an alcoholic.
Just like in Home Run.
Which, by the way, we don't really learn why until the very, very end. And by then, we don't care. And it's
something that's not going to get us a copyright violation. It's just a plain glass of water.
So, then of course, they have to do the ultimate cliche. They got to bring in a choreographer. Now, of course, it's an all guys. They're like, what do they call themselves? Like the B-boys or something.
Yeah, they're B-boys.
Apparently, it's like a thing. But
it is.
I don't know anything about that. Okay, so they bring in a choreographer, and it's a girl. Of course, for some reason, their reaction is basically more or less that very cliche, very routine, a girl? This most certainly could not be. A girl? Are you serious? Because girls are incapable of nothing. So, then we go through all that, and a line that has been racking my brain for a year now, that I don't get it. Okay, I'm not thinking about this line too much, but
maybe.
Okay, so they're all in the bleachers, and she comes in. Now, of course, she's trying to put the guys in their place because they're a girl. No. So what happens is you think she's gonna put Chris Brown in his place because he's the fucking talker.
Yeah.
Because Chris Brown has such a way with the ladies.
Yes.
That was a pretty punchy joke.
He really knows how to throw them around.
So, Chris Brown's doing his thing, and you think she's about to shut him down. So she says, I'm not into boys, I'm into men. And you're like, ooh, shut down. But then she says, so you and I will not have a problem. So now
He's a boy, not a man.
that's what the first insult sounded like. But then
Yeah.
she says, so we're not going to have a problem.
We're not going to have a problem because you're not man enough for me.
Was that what it was?
That's the only thing I've ever thought when I heard that trailer moment.
Maybe. I just thought she was confused. I didn't know if she wanted him or not. Obviously, no. She doesn't. Thank Christ! She does not have a love story.
No, she really doesn't.
But, you know, it could have gone there, which is frightening. I don't know. But anyway, if you want to go more into the magnificent dialogue here, Chris Brown is the greatest insulter of all time. This is the kind of banter we have here. They're dancing. Some of them not as good as the others. How does Chris Brown insult them? Are you ready for this real zinger? You guys are the dream team? More like the dream girls. That one really fucking cut deep. I'll bet the dream team cried themselves to sleep that night. Oh
Yeah.
my god.